All of these elements are psychosomatically induced because you're assimilating the energies from social media and the internet. These platforms didn't exist when I was a kid because we didn't have these things floating around here that people just take as being a part of normal life nowadays. They didn't exist because there was no media to induce these into the subconscious minds of the individuals that are actually just soaking up these vibrations and these frequencies. For example, if you have the transgender agenda, and it is an agenda because this didn't exist years ago, they were classified as transsexuals, transvestites, which I'm not into that stuff. Human beings are what they are. That's the diversification of this planet, and it is what makes it beautiful. You can't put people into classifications because this is creation. This is the creator of all creation, creating everything different for a reason. So we can celebrate our differences, not kill each other over it. So I love diversity. I don't tell somebody, you're not this, you're not that. But if you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, and let's be honest. For example, if you have a bisexual man who identifies as a woman, that is his right to identify with whatever he chooses, because that is his personal truth. That is the reality inside his mind. And nobody can tell this person that you're right, wrong, or otherwise. But genetically, biologically, anatomically, physically, this person is a man. Why? All you have to do is check the pelvic bone. The pelvic bone determines whether the individual is a male or a female. And you can't dance around this truth. You can identify with whatever you want. The reason why people seek an alternate identity is because the life that they're living is unbearable. And they just create this alternate reality, which is perfectly fine. That's where you get escapism from. That's why people love to, through their memories, cast their energies to a time in the past when things were much more pleasant. That's why people go to the movies, to escape from the reality of their own current situation. But the reality of the matter is such that you can identify with whatever you want. That is your own personal truth. But this will not concur with the alignment of other people's perceptions of what reality is or what it isn't, because they're not going to see it that way. So identity is a personal journey. If you don't want to identify with a human being or whatever it is, that's cool. That's the beauty of given the power by source to do whatever you want with that power. It isn't just to manifest material things, manifest $100 million or a brand new car or a partner or whatever. You can use that energy and manifest whatever it is you desire. If you want to manifest a new identity, that's your business. And there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing that becomes wrong is when you start to push that onto other people. When they tell you, no, you're not a woman. And the guy says, yes, I am. Knowing full well that he's not. Even though in his mind he's convinced himself that he's a woman. Physically, genetically, biologically, anatomically. You're a man. And there's nothing you can do about it. Because of the internet has convinced this person. Because when one person says it, and then another, and then another, knowing that human beings are social, and most of them cannot think for themselves, they all follow, because that's what human beings do. They're followers. Essentially, human beings don't change. The only thing that changes is technology and fashion. Human beings generally stay the same, and they have for centuries, for millions of years. And this is the reason why they're controlled by a very small group that's been in control from the beginning. So the same group that's been controlling people for centuries is the same group of individuals that controls the infrastructure, the internet, social media, everything that you see, fashion, industry, and I'm talking all of industry, telecommunications, pharmaceutical, fashion, the educational infrastructure, all of it. It's all controlled by the same hub. All the food that you eat, all of the things that you see, advertisements. People now, if you check, everybody's wearing very dark clothes. And that's that way for a reason. Because these clothes are creating a monochromatic landscape. And that triggers and activates specific vibrational dimensions to open of a low vibrational nature. That's why they're making the cars black, white, and gray primarily. You don't see too much color anymore. But people aren't really catching on to this. They are slowly chiseling away at the polychromatic colors of the rainbow, and at the same time discouraging affection. And in its place, you get these monochromatic colors, black, white, or gray, and they encourage violence and cruelty, and people don't see it. And it's the same truth with these social media agendas being disseminated to the viewers that are affecting them subconsciously. You are what you eat. If you're eating junk food all day long and you have a sedentary lifestyle, you will become morbidly obese. And it's the same thing with the content that you're consuming. There's no difference. If what you're consuming on social media platforms is negative and deleterious and malevolent in nature, this is affecting your subconscious mind detrimentally, and it will adversely affect you, whether you realize it or not. They're conditioning you to believe these things through the power of suggestive influence. They have convinced you to tell you that you could be whatever you want. I could be a man or a woman at the same time. I could be a bunny rabbit, or I could be a snake, or I could be a whale or a bird. I could be all of it if I want to be. I don't even have to be any gender. I can make it up. I could be gender fluid or species fluid. All of these terminologies that they come up with nowadays. And these people, because they can't think for themselves, they go, yeah, that sounds right. I'll go with that because everybody else is doing it, so I'll do it too. And since everybody else agrees, that validates my identity. But the unfortunate truth is there's something called reality of other people's perceptions of what that is. In your mind, in your imagination, you have the right to feel and do whatever you want and identify with whatever you want. But the reality is that genetically, biologically, anatomically, and physically, you are what you are, and you have to check the pelvic bone. Medical science knows this as an irrefutable fact. And that's just the way it is. But that doesn't negate your feelings and emotions of your identity. Because if that is your safety zone, so to speak, then you have every right to do that, to reinforce that identity and stay there. Because a lot of times this world is unbearable. So you have to create an alternate reality and exist in there. And if that's what makes you happy, and if that's what brings you peace and joy and balance and harmonious enlightenment and whatever you're getting from it, then God bless you. But nobody has the right to tell anybody else that there's something that they're not in the physical sense. Because then you are trying to violate somebody else's perceptive lens. And nobody has that right. Just like they don't have a right to tell you that what you believe yourself to be, you're not. Because of your newly formed or newly found identity. Because that is your business to have that. And it's very sacred to you. It should be honored and respected by others. Saying, okay, we honor the fact that you believe that you are this. And not try to tell you that you're right or wrong or otherwise. That's not the premise of this video. The premise of this video is a reality check. I'm not trying to tell somebody, oh, you don't have the right to identify with whatever you want, because you do. What I'm just saying is that the reality of other people's perceptions is such that they will not see what you see. So you just have to come correct with that truth, even if it's not your own. And just live your life the best way you can and be the best version of yourself that you feel that you can actually be. And just do as much as you can do to help others and help yourself. And celebrate your diversity and your identity and whatever else that you feel brings you joy and happiness in your life, because it is a beautiful thing after all. We're only here for a very short amount of time, and it never ceases to amaze me, man's inhumanity to man. Ever since I'm a kid, I've watched this, and it's just blown my mind that people are given this precious thing called life, and they squander it fighting, arguing, bickering, confrontation, struggles, gossip, drama, nonsense, noise, he said, she said, all the junk and the deplorable actions and words and intentions that they cast. Vengeance, vendetta, revenge, holding grudges to the grave. You've wasted the most precious gift. And then what have you accomplished in your life? You just have a whole trail of nothing behind you, of just arguments and negativity and hatred that people hold in their heart forever. Hatred is a cancer that will rot you to your soul. You can't hold these things, man. That's why you have to learn to forgive in the moment, move on. I'm not saying everything is forgivable, because a lot of things are not. But forgiveness is a personal journey. You have to learn to release the energies that comprise the burdens to the universe to be transmuted. This way you're not carrying them anymore. And then when you pass from this astral plane, you're not going to be tethered to this earth because you didn't resolve your earthly issues when you should have. Because when you pass and you don't resolve these things, you're going to stay stuck here. And that's a topic for a whole new video. Trust me, I could literally make thousands of videos on so many topics. But I'm going to leave you with this. Identify with whatever you choose is right for you. That is your business. But you don't have the right to push that onto anybody else as if that is the absolute truth. And that is the truth.